Alright, what's up, guys? It's Ninja. And basically, I have a video for you today. It's called Calling You Out. Basically, it's going to be featuring a video by Star Talk. It was uploaded 3 years ago, basically. Neil deGrasse Tyson explains the space-time continuum, and it's 3 years ago. But the problem is, I think people still believe this today. They believed it for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, and they still believe it. And so I want to basically call it out, fix it, show you guys the truth, basically. I want to counter his points and arguments and all of the sort, and I want to bring up my own shit. Uh, bring up my own points, my own everything, basically. God damn it. Bring up, yeah. You hopefully get the idea. But I'll be playing the video. Right here. Okay. Okay. And by the way, I made a new word, and it's kind of cool, but we'll see how it goes.
This is Star Talk, and I can't do that without Chuck Nice. Chuck,
hey Neil,
with me on this. Yeah.
So much fun these are. So much fun.
And I got a segment here. It's on the space-time continuum.
All right, I'm cool with that.
You've heard that? You've heard that?
Are you kidding me? It is only the premise of every freaking sci-fi thing ever.
Yes.
And
I just want to ground it.
Travel.
I just want to ground it in a few ways that I don't think people spend time doing. So let's think this.
Are you going to ruin space-time the way you did Pluto? Is that what's
Okay, so you want to? No, I want to ruin space-time travel. Basically, I'm the one who's gonna ruin it. Not Neil deGrasse Tyson. He may have destroyed the whole thing about the planet. I forget its name. Not because people forget, but I'm just a forgetful person, so I wrote a script. And basically, and why I wrote everything down. So I'm gonna be the one that's gonna ruin space time, basically, and I'm the one who's gonna ground everything, basically, because this dude doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. And I'm gonna again show you that hopefully today.
going to happen right now?
Nothing I can do can help Pluto. Just so you know, it's out of my hands.
Was it Pluto? I think it was Pluto. Yeah, it was Pluto.
So here we go. 1905. You should.
Well, first off, before we get into it, they're talking basically about time, okay, and so what I gotta basically read what I wrote down because it's really good. I think the whole thing is really good. So basically about time. Time isn't real. We made it up, basically. That is like saying hate speech. Like, I forget how you spell it, but it's pronounced hate speech. It's like saying hate speech, hate street, basically. It's like trying to say that it's actually a street of hate, basically. And like it's literally hate, and it involves hate, and it's really about hate, and that's what they're trying to push, and that's what it's about. It's hate. That's why it's called hate speech, or hate street, rather. I keep mixing the two up. I don't know why. Oh, I know why. Cause it's everywhere. Hate speech. It's bullshit. No such thing as hate speech. There's just haters. That's anyways. That's something else. So hate street, okay, it's just a name, okay. No, it is just a name, something we came up with, just like time. The street is actually pretty nice. I've been there, but the point is, it doesn't matter. The name, the title, the tag, just like time, it's just a name, a title, tag. It doesn't matter. the location does, right? So when I say hate street, we think of a location, and that's what matters, right? We think of that, and that's what matters, right? And time doesn't have that, so to speak. Like, you can say 10 o'clock, but is it like, what is 10 o'clock, right? Or 11 o'clock, or like noon, for example. That's when the sun reaches the top, and there's the whole, like, we're changing rules and regulations with, like, we add an hour, and then we take an hour away, and there's winter, and there's summer, and there's solstice, all this shit. And that's just Earth. And then what happens when we're in Mars and Venus and Jupiter? Like, suddenly, like, that aspect of time changes. But up, up, down, left to right will always be, right? Up, down, left, right, and anywhere in here, that will be any planet, anywhere, any place, whatever. It doesn't matter, right? That will be. Time is fake. The other three are not. But the point is, it doesn't matter. The location does. And time doesn't have that, so to speak. There isn't a soul or grounding. It's fake, right? And again, on the next planet, this time reference, it's like, okay, the time of Mars, the time of Jupiter, the time of Saturn, the time of, we'll have, and there's different times, the UK time, London time, right? There's different, so like, what the fuck is time, right? There's no time travel. Because what's 3 o'clock? 3 o'clock my time, your time, you have to specify. There's so much specification, so much, it's not real. Okay, period. It's not real. Ask an AI. Ask any smart person. Time isn't real. All right, there's nothing there. It's fake. Okay, period. End of story. But I'm gonna rip apart everything he says. Watch.
So here we go. 1905. You should know immediately. One thing should know in your head. 1905. Einstein comes out with this special theory of relativity.
Right.
Okay.
Set
In fact,
the
it's
world
not
on fire.
It's not what he called it. It was the paper that delivered it to us is called "On the Electrodynamics of Moving Bodies," and no one wanted to recite that, so it's just called special relativity. But that's what it is, because it's all about the relativity of motion and time. Okay, right. So what it did was codify the fact that
the fact, no,
spatial dimensions need the three spatial dimensions, height, width, and depth, need a fourth dimension to localize it in any spatial system you're talking about. And since you needed time, then it's a space-time system. So it sounds like it's weird. Like, what are you doing, Einstein? Leave me alone with my height, width, and depth. But it turns out we have always thought about life in 4 dimensions. Always. And here's an example of why.
We have the illusion of, but go ahead.
If I say to you, Chuck, I'll meet you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock.
I'll say, great, what are we doing? I'm so excited to find out.
Okay.
God, I love when you surprise me like this.
Well, okay, I can do that, but I'll say, all right, that's fine. I'll meet you at the corner of 5th Avenue and 34th Street.
Okay.
What's your next question to me?
And when? Because I don't want to stay there all day waiting for you.
So you knew that giving you those coordinates, right, Earth's surface, 33rd Street, 5th Avenue, 34th Street, you knew that's insufficient for us to actually meet.
Absolutely.
You're going to say, when? Bada bing!
Not really. Not really. Animals meet up all the time. Like, before, like, you can be in the wilderness and just meet me at high noon. There's no clock. It's just, and they'll wait there for an hour or two until they show up, because it's just, We're aiming for when the sun is the very top, right? I got here whenever, and that's like the whole point. That's as far as that goes. As far as the definition, again, it's just like naming Hate Street, Hate Street. There's no hate. That's not. There's no Jefferson on Jefferson Street. Ninth Street is called Ninth Street because it's the Ninth Street, and suddenly, oh wait, there's actually a reason for the name there. It's because it's the Ninth Street, and then there's 10th Street, and 11th Street, and 12th Street, whatever, and things like that. But again, time doesn't have anything like that. There's nothing like that. They may have hours 8 to 3, but really all they're saying is we're open in the morning time and we close towards the evening. That's all you're saying. And because you defined it, that doesn't make it a fourth thing. All you're doing is you're making these more deeper, so to speak. Right? You're just making the three that we have more complicated. That's all you're really doing. So
The time coordinate just got slapped on there.
Did you just bada bing space time?
Is that allowed? I did bada bing space time. All right.
That's awesome.
Is that forgivable to you? Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
All right. So, and you can reverse that, right? I can say, Chuck, I'll meet you at 12 noon tomorrow. And,
Okay.
And your next question to me is?
When or where?
I just said when.
Okay, where?
Where, exactly. So we cannot meet unless the spatial coordinate is specified and the temporal coordinate is specified. Oh, and by the way, because we're all kind of stuck on Earth's surface, if you want to do the full up three-dimensional meet in space, I would say I'll meet you at 5th Avenue, 34th Street, 107 floors up. Okay? Or 86 floors up. That would be the Empire State Building, because that's the coordinate of the Empire State Building. So I'd give one dimension, the other dimension, and then a height dimension. Those are all three dimensions. Often, you don't give the height dimension because you're just meeting on the street.
Right.
It's just implicit, yes, we're going to meet on Earth's surface this time.
Right.
That one is an easy one to just accept as a given. But technically...
yeah, because we aren't planet bound yet. But in the sense that we can become planet bound, it becomes necessary to know where Mars, Jupiter, the moon, right? So, like, those are the location. Okay, where on Mars? It's a more defined location. I don't know. The quick stop at the corner of 10th Street. I don't know. Or just whatever. Basically, that's what's it called? Basically, in the 3D, you basically picked it out. Basically, right? As far as time, you could say right now, or in 15 minutes, or 20 minutes, or an hour, right? But guess what? It doesn't mean anything, right? We could have called it these things, these measurements don't mean anything. As far as like past dates go, they don't mean anything. Like today's dates and whatnot, it makes it easier for us, but it's not actually a thing, if that makes sense. Kind of like when you play a video game, it's really just a bunch of ones and zeros and shapes and whatever, fucking around on the screen or masturbating or whatever. It's not really, but it's a way for you to kind of like, you know what I'm saying, to get you off, essentially. But it's not a thing. It's not you can't go back 2 hours. Like you can't do that. Whereas with up, down, left, right, like you can go negative 14 degrees or go, backwards 5, right? but you can't do that with time. So it's not a dimension.
Technically, if you wanted all three, if you wanted to do it full up, you give 3 dimensions: Earth's surface, 34th Street, 5th Avenue, and at a time. So we already knew this, but no one thought about it that way. Now, here are the consequences of that. If you're crossing the street, and then a minute later, a truck drives down the street, you were in the same place as that truck.
Right.
When you were in the middle of the street.
At the right time, though. I was in that same place.
I mean, the right time meaning that's not where the truck is at that time.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. So I don't want to say you were in the same place at the wrong time. You were in the same place at the right time.
The right time.
So.
And for the record, you can argue what they mean to be the opposite depending on what, because they're not talking about the context. So you can add it or subtract it wherever the fuck you want and change the story completely and make it both right and or wrong. So
We are always in the same place as each other, but it doesn't mean anything.
We're not in the same place as each other.
Until you're there at the same time. Is in the same place as each other, but it doesn't mean anything until you're there at the same time.
We're not. No, we're not. No, we're not. No, we're not. I am here. You are there. Yes, the same planet, but we don't think, we don't think in planets as a species yet. And even then, Earth is more than 2 places last time I checked, right? So directions on a planet would help, basically. Point is, we're not in the same place. That is you trying to exploit the context, basically. You're trying to exploit the context of time, or to bend the rules, or to change the rules, or you're trying to make it fit your story, basically. You're trying to change the story to make it fit your reality, as opposed to making it's hard to explain.
We're in the same place at the right time.
Right.
We are always in the same place as each other, but it doesn't mean anything until you're there at the same time.
Right. But saying we're always in the same place as each other, that wouldn't mean we're in the same place, because time isn't real, basically. In this scenario, you're making it seem like time is real. We can't go back. We can't go forward. We can just go now, right? And, let's say it takes you 30 minutes to get there and it takes you 40 minutes to get there, and I leave just after 5 minutes, so we never met. We're both there, technically. But, again, we're not in the same place because we're not in the same place. Like, you're getting more into Dungeons and Dragons territory more so than reality. Like, if I throw a rock, it'll go and do what it does because I just threw a rock. Or if I shoot a gun, right? Like, you're making these rules or the math seem more than what's actually happening. Like, when I take a gun and shoot and aim and fire, I'm not calculating and breaking down and wind trajectory, and I'm just fucking firing a gun. That's it. There's no sequence behind it. And the point I'm trying to make is you're making the sequence seem like it's more important than the actual shooting of the gun. And it's stupid. And again, that's kind of where the time example statement comes from, basically. And it just doesn't work. It doesn't fit. There you go. Yep.
So I just want to drive home that concept. So now let's go to sci-fi movies. How about Back to the Future, one of the greatest sort of thought-through time travel stories there are, including the Terminator. I think thought through time travel very hard.
Well.
They did all right.
Yeah.
I have an issue. I have an issue with Arnold.
What is it? Tell me now. Why do you have a problem?
So on the first, I'll tell you, dude. He goes back in time to kill the possible parents of
John Connor,
the leader of the new movement of the resistance. But all he had to do is prevent the parents from meeting each other. I mean, you can go back 4 generations earlier and just put 2 people on a different train so they never meet, and that entire genetic lineage never exists, right? So this idea that he's got to kill them and it's going to be all bloody, that made it like a violent movie, but it could have been done a little more with less blood and gore. Where was I? Oh, so here's what...
Now, real quick, it's a good point, but just to let you know, that's a context argument, basically. If you think about it, he kind of had unlimited options, basically. He could have done what you said, sure, but he could have done something else, or something else, or something else, or something else. He's going back in time. He can literally do anything. He can go back in time to the primordial ooze and jack off into the primordial ooze, and humanity never existed, and he just killed himself because they never existed, so he never existed. And now you have to wait until forever again for him to exist again, or for time travel to come back. And so now it doesn't work, and the reason why is because time isn't real. Basically, time is not real. There's only here and now. That's it. There's only the now. Time is an illusion. And then what I said was, but they went with that one for the sake of the movie, basically. And I said that if you think about it, it explains my faith in God, basically, because they made the choice that they did for the sake of the movie. And I choose to believe for the sake of, like, you never know, right? Because I don't know, basically, is what I say. Like, I'm not an atheist. I'm not an atheist. And they try to say, oh, agnostic, it's not real. No, it is real. I'm an agnostic. I don't fucking know. No one knows. You can choose yes or no. Go ahead. Fine. Go ahead. Choose yes or no. I don't know. That's it. I don't know. Period. But at the end of the day, guess what? None of that matters. You know why? Because time isn't real. Basically. That's basically what it comes down to. Time isn't real. Right? Just like religion. You could say, oh, God isn't real. Oh, no, that sucks. I should have raped all those people and murdered all those people. And, I could have been all this bad. No, I prefer to be a good person and be a good guy because I'd rather have a positive influence on the world, regardless. So if there is a God, let's go, right? And if there isn't a God, who cares? I still made the world a good place, right? And that's what I'm saying. And basically that's kind of the same thing with time. Basically. Kind of. I should wait until I start the video. But yeah, none of that matters because time isn't real, so yeah.
What you have to be concerned about. Let's go Back to the Future. When Marty, yeah, give me some Doc Brown here.
Marty, it's time.
Now I'm in the mood. Thank you. All right.
Get in the car, Marty.
So there's Marty, and he's being chased by the Libyan terrorists. Okay,
that's right. That's right.
And in the parking lot, in the Twin Pines parking lot. All right, and then he there's a date in there from 1955, and he goes back in time to 1955. Okay, and he lands in the Twin Pines Ranch, because as we know, all good farmland becomes strip malls, right, in modern times. All right, okay. What they didn't address is the fact that he would only land in that ranch if he goes back to when Earth was in the same place in its orbit.
Ooh.
He would have to be traveling on the anniversary of the date that he was that.
I just thought of something. Technically, what he's saying is not true. Because if time travel existed, everything is being rewounded and being exactly as it was back then. So he would land at that ranch no matter what, basically. Because if you're rewinding time, right? Because you're time traveling, you're not just like, oh, time was now 10 years ago and nothing is where it was 10 years ago. That's then what you're saying is true. Then you would fall somewhere else. But because because it doesn't, time isn't real.
Of when he left.
Right.
So that Earth is back where it is, so that when he goes back in time, he doesn't end up suffocating in the vacuum of space.
Okay. Let me read what I wrote. So that isn't true. We are moving in space. We are not. Well, that isn't true. We're moving in space. We're not sitting still. And because of that, if you went back in time following your fake rules, you would land in space. And not the farm, you would land in space. But again, it's impossible to travel in time because time isn't real. All you're doing is using logic to counter the pretend. And I said, did you know that Pikachu isn't real? Did you know that Squirtle is fake too? And then I was actually a Charmander. He's also fake. And hopefully you get the idea. And basically, it's like I counter all of this stuff, basically, about this thing. But overall, at the end of the day, this thing isn't real, so none of it matters, basically. And you're pointing a flaw in their thoughts, basically, but their thoughts are about pretend. So it's like boxing with shadows. Like it's like you're playing like Dungeons and Dragons. Like I attack you with my, my skeleton. You're like, oh yeah, well skeletons are impossible. So man, it's like the, it's stupid. But yeah. So if time were to go backwards, everything would go backwards, and he would land where he left off. And the idea is that he would have, for some reason, um, he would have, because he is going back in time, and he could see himself, and he's a time traveler, so it creates a big outing, but at the end of the day, time isn't real. And I'm recording this live, by the way, and I'm on Twitch. So if anyone wants to come by or give me their arguments, I'm more than willing to hear them. But honestly, I don't think you're gonna be able to disprove me because this whole thing is fucking ridiculous, fucking stupid. Like I don't know what the fuck they're talking. So
He would, farmland becomes strip malls, right, in modern times. All right, okay. What they didn't address is the fact that he would only land in that ranch if he goes back to when Earth was in the same place in its orbit.
Ooh.
He would have to be.
But my question is, why wouldn't Earth be in its place, in its orbit? Why wouldn't it be there? If you're going back in time, why wouldn't it be there? There's a disconnect in thought here. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So you have to explain that point for me to carry on, essentially.
traveling on the anniversary of the date that of when he left.
Right.
So that Earth is back where it is, so that when he goes back in time, he doesn't end up suffocating in the vacuum of space.
But the Earth will be where it's supposed to be. That isn't going to happen because everyone's going back. Everything's going back. Everything is where it is. And that's where you're going, so to speak. But if you have to aim like that, oh man, that brings up a whole different another question about like how do you aim that? Like, why is it that when you travel back in time, you show up where you show up in general? Why is it like? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, all you're doing is you're finding a loophole and you're exploiting it in the movie about time, but you don't realize that you're actually creating an argument against time in general. And you want this thing, but I already countered it. So, and then so like, it's just an argument of times coming more and more and more. And every single time it's countered, and this time's not real. Time's not real.
Oh man, that first of all would be the best time travel short film ever. Oh, Marty, I discovered the secrets of time travel, Marty. Right? Get in the car. And then the two of them are just floating in space.
The end.
The end. I didn't think this through, Marty.
So I'm just saying, it's not good enough just to travel back in time. You need something to propel you in space as well. So it's a space-time machine, not just a time machine. Because Earth is a moving target. I just want to make that clear.
That's really cool, actually.
And by the way, just you go back in time, you could still land on Earth, but how is Earth rotated? You could end up in Siberia, in the middle of the ocean, probably.
And real quick, based off of that, I said, no, you can't. And the reason why is because the Earth is moving, as you said, but it's actually moving beyond the aspect you're thinking. I think later on you say something to point it out, but I chose this time for a reason.
Because most of Earth's longitude is spanned by ocean. So I just want to sort of, it's truth in time travel with regard to these space-time coordinates. Now,
basically what I wanted to say was that the Earth is moving, and so are all the planets. So is the sun, and we're moving with the sun. And the universe is moving. Or, not the universe, but the solar system is moving, rather. And our galaxy is moving. The Milky Way is moving. And whatnot. So, like, if you're not going to land on Earth because the rotation around the sun is off, you have to understand that you got to accommodate for the location of the universe, basically. So like if we're gonna go down that road, we're gonna go all the way down because it's a factor, right? You have to choose the location. Okay, well, you have the whole fucking universe to choose from, so have fun, right? That's kind of the deal. But the point is, at the end of the day, is time isn't real anyway, so who fucking cares? It's all pretended. None of it matters. We should let it go and go to sleep and all know that it's fake. It's not real. That's the point. That's the main point. It's just not real, so it doesn't matter. And it's not a fourth dimension because it's not real. It doesn't matter. Whereas the one dimension matters. The second dimension matters. The third one matters. The fourth one with time, let's just say you're bringing up time and mentioning time and suggesting time. It's not real and it doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter because there's no such thing. You can't go back and you can't go forward. You can plan and meet somebody, but that's not based on time. That's based off an arrangement, basically. And time is just a simplification of, like, oh, at 5 o'clock, then some blah blah blah. And then again, if time was a thing, then we wouldn't have what's it called? We wouldn't be taking an hour and then giving an hour, and then it would be the same thing on Mars, Jupiter, on Pluto, on Uranus, right? They'd be the same thing, but they're not. You know why? It's because time isn't fucking real.
We call these your coordinate in space and your coordinate in time. We call that your world line.
Really?
Yes, that's
I've
a,
never
it's a
heard
cool
that
term.
before.
World
Word line. Congratulations. You created a word for something that isn't real. This is why I like this example right here, this whole world line thing. This is why um this is why I this is why I have only little gratitude. Oh, this is why I have only a little gratitude for educated people. It is only people who are also intelligent that I will like you. It's actually why I like kids, and that's actually why Elon hangs with younger adults. Because when you're young, you have an intelligence, but when you get older, you have education, and that's what they're talking about and diving into and trying to exploit is through education, and then they're trying to take that and dive into intelligence. But the problem is the wavelength of intelligence is like the current that is way more from intelligence than there is education, basically. And both of their faces, that's kind of funny. I would hate to be kissing on them. They're fucking idiots. Most dumbasses I had ever seen. But yeah, like this is like, if you don't know, there is a difference between education and intelligence. Basically, like there are people that went to school and got very highly educated, but I would not trust them for anything. Like I think Louis C.K. discovered this in his bit about talking about a homeless person who is young, or a trash can dude, or something like a trash can driver, versus a dude who only knows like science. Basically, he would rather talk to the trash can dude versus Neil deGrasse Tyson about life shit because he knows more about life. You may know. It's funny because you're an astronomer and you don't have no fucking idea that, which I point out later, but the person who drives the trash can has more experience in life. Intelligence basically is what that is. It's intelligence. What you have a knowledge or education, basically, and what you think is real, and what you've been taught and told, and you're trying to expand. It's like you're like a little kid, and you've remembered books, but these books lied to you. I'm telling you that they lied to you. This, like, I'm intelligent. I'm self-taught. I actually broke into math, and I went as far as I could, not because I can't go farther, but because it breaks down and makes a little fucking sense. And I'm like, well, why the fuck would I want to know this shit? Like a lot of algebra is like, okay, thank you, cool, wonderful. I'm never gonna fucking use this shit because it fucking matters, right? Like some of it does when inventing and whatnot, but I'm not gonna go that fucking far. I'm gonna go a little bit, but not that fucking far. That's what I did, right? And intellectually, I went and discovered, and I took a lot of psychology classes, and I hated them because they failed me because I couldn't remember dude's name, right? His name was like was the Pavlov, the dude that fed dogs and the saliva, right? I could explain the the case in this scenario, this situation. I could break it down all that shit and explain all of it, the slap on the steak and all this shit, the bell. I just forgot his name, and because of that, I failed the class. But I'm saying the name now, Pavlov. Like I know what he was talking about, but I don't remember. And that's education, basically. If you don't know, basically, if you think about it, it's basically like a cult in a way, right? It's like you need to know our shit or you don't. And that's basically what you do is you're making a cult, and that's where you get Trump and ass kissers. And why there's so many ass kissers, and let's see, where was that? So, let's see why Elon hangs with kids. Well, he likes their brains, also in education. I like without, like, the no, like, no language, no math, but also know that things like time aren't real. Like, um, I use time, even though I know it's fake. I use it, or else you get dumbasses like you and Kaku who try to take fake like time, this fake shit, and implement it into our real science. Like that's you and Kaku are doing with this string theory and whatnot. Like I looked as I should look into string theory more, but it sounds like he has no idea what the fuck he's talking about. String theory, like no, I don't believe that for a second. Like it sounds stupid. Like cells, like yeah, I can believe cells and the way that they work and operate. I couldn't believe that there's no brain, there's no consciousness. I can believe in certain things. I can believe I understand a lot of shit, but I'm very intelligent. I consider myself one of the most intelligent people in the world, and I've said this before. And doctors are like, "Oh, I don't know," and I talk to AI and say, "Oh my God, you're fucking brilliant," blah, blah. And I talk to doctors about it. Like, well, it sounds unhealthy, and they go, "You are pretty smart," but I'm like, "Well, that's what I'm saying." Anyways, let's see. Kids use it. Fake Haku, fake shit. And then I said, go be Christians full time if you want to believe in what's not real. And then I said, now again, I'm Christian and I do the right thing as if God is watching, right? But I know better to trust again someone who tells me that I speak to God, right? I'm like, give me proof that you speak to God, right? Like, I'm a Christian. I consider myself a. I don't remember. My doctor has a good name for it. I forgot what it was, but I'll talk and all sorts of the same time. Um, but let's see, I call bullshit. Give me proof that you. Then we could talk. As far as the person who's claiming that, oh, I could talk to God. Well, if you could talk to God, give me proof that you could talk to God. I mean, real proof, not like, oh, here's a theory, or just some bullshit. And like, it's the same thing as like the trick with the magic and they're pulling the rabbit out of the hat. Like basically, that's what it comes down to is you're tricking somebody. So, uh, and then I pointed out, let's see. I'm Christian, I do the right things. If he's watching, but nobody to trust. Someone who tells me to speak to him, I call bullshit, not giving proof. Then we talk. People who blindly take the leap are carried by the rich as leaders or influencers to create more of the same. These people are basically suicide bombers if you think about it, but the NA version, basically. Like that's what it is. It's an idiot who believes in bullshit to the point where he's going to go that far. Right? That's basically what it is. That's what time is, and a lot of and he's not willing to go that far. But yeah, so
World line.
World
So,
line.
so your world line is where and when you are.
Nice.
So you can step back and look at everyone's world lines, and the world lines are sort of, it's, think of it as sort of some kind of shadow moving through this hyper coordinate system. And so that way, if I had to go to even a higher dimension, so I can see your entire world line. If I see your entire world line, you are always being born, you're always living out your life, and you're always dying.
Right.
Because I can see the time
See a
coordinate.
timeline. Right.
The whole timeline is there in front of me.
Right.
And I can see other people's world lines intersect your world line. Oh, that's when you met your wife. Okay? That's when you were in my office and we recorded that episode.
Exactly.
So imagine this.
so now I call that all of that was bullshit. Like his whole story about seeing this, seeing that, the timeline this, timeline that's all bullshit. But doesn't it sound nice? Basically, that's kind of my point. I wanted to direct people to. Like, if you're listening, doesn't it sound nice to believe what he's saying? Doesn't it kind of bait you in? Right? And I said, good job. Get MAGA, like MAGA, like Make America Great Again. Get MAGA via science. You're baited to believe the lies, or again that you're made into an extremist. Basically, go ahead. Next step is suicide bombers. January 6th or whatever it was close enough for NA standards, basically, but you'll fit right in because essentially it's the same thing if you think about it. Like, he is creating an argument that isn't real, but he's making it sound real, and he's talking you into it, and he's trying to make it seem like logic, and it's common sense, and it makes you believe it, right? But the problem is, there's one major flaw. Time isn't real, overall, period, end of story. There's a line, people. There's a line. He is well across that line right now as far as this imagination goes. Right? Time isn't real. Okay? So stop. Basically, stop. If you believe that time is real, you're becoming one of them, a suicide bomber. Basically, you're just not that far along yet. Right? You're becoming a puppet, essentially. Like, your mind, you're stupid enough to believe that's what they call it, MAGA. Essentially, getting MAGA with the bullshit. So next step, bond is close enough, and aim. That might be why. They said that might be why Tyson pops off while saying this shit, because it creates suckers for them to then go and take, right, and then put them and propel them forward so that more suckers are born, and it keeps the world being stupid. It keeps them in charge, and then more sellouts and more Trumps and more MAGA and more bullshit and more stupid. Nobody knows anything. Da 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 da. Right? It just keeps going and going and going and going. I don't know where it is, by the way, but it's like it said like science, scientific. I don't know. Science, religion, something. I forgot. They had a really good name for it. I really like it. But yeah, here you go.
Spaghetti picture of all these world lines of human beings interacting.
This is cool.
So he says this is cool, right? And that's basically it. That right there, he's probably like imagine an average American, basically, that got his diploma from a Cracker Jack box. That's basic. Yeah, that's so cool. That's so cool. That's so cool. Whereas me, someone who's intelligent and educated and knows the truth and the wisdom and reality, what's real and what's not. Someone who can see the difference. Someone who will be able to argue with him, both of them, about what time is and how it's not real, and you need to shut up and drop it and understand time is fucking fake and it's not the fourth dimension because it's fake. The point is that I can make that determination, but I never said, "Oh, that's cool." Right? He's being MAGA-ified right now. That's what Trump did to all these MAGA people, basically. That's cool. And they'll believe this bullshit. And they'll get fucked in the ass for it. It's basically what's going on. Like, it may not be his dream to fuck you over, but he's leading a lot of people right to the bad guys that are, right? You're going to a party or you're going to a workout and you're going to this or you're going to that and you're making your body look good, and the guy sends you over to a fucking fitness hotel and gets the rapist there and there's murderers there, and like it's not good, dude. It's not good. And it's just no, it's just not real. It's fake. It's pretend. But it's like a scientific religion, something I don't remember. But yeah, continuing.
And that I don't know that anyone has actually thought to portray that.
No, they have not. That's why I said this is so cool. Because first of all, first I've ever heard of it.
No, first time I ever heard of it. No, wait until later.
But secondly, that is something that nobody's put in sci-fi in terms of. Actually, I take it back. There's a couple Star Trek episodes where they play with that, but they don't present it that way. They still present the linear as portrayed in different positions.
Exactly. So anyhow, so that's how that works. And one last point in Kurt Vonnegut's.
Real quick, as I was saying, it was done by Star Trek, the place where you need a brain to follow, but it's pretend, and they knew that it was pretend, basically, and it was fake, and it was a show, and they're just fucking around because it was just a sci-fi show. But he's not a sci-fientist, he's a scientist, and he's trying to talk like it's actually a real thing, basically. So great minds do think alike, but the problem is he's a dumbass, and I can guarantee that the writers back then were smart. Basically, the people that made Star Trek were way more intelligent than he is. As far as education, it really doesn't matter because education is a limited thing, but intelligence goes on forever. And I know because I am the most intelligent man in the world, at least publicly. I'm sure there's people behind closed doors that lie about it because they try to fuck the world over, but that's what it comes down to, basically, at the end of the day.
It's novel, Slaughterhouse-Five, which
Idiots.
ostensibly takes.
I wrote that down, so I had to include that.
Takes place in Kurt Vonnegut's plate. So anyhow, so that's how that works. And one last point in Kurt Vonnegut's novel, Slaughterhouse-Five.
Real quick, look at this. Another work of fiction. Another work of fiction. It's a book. It's a sci-fi book, right? But yet, he's talking to you about it as if he's trying to use that as an argument that this theory about time is real. And he's using sci-fi as his evidence, basically. Like great minds think alike, and they may have crossed the same road, but the way that they got there may be completely different. And just because you both arrived here doesn't make it true. It just means that one of you who says it's true probably fucked up, and I'm looking straight at you, Neil deGrasse Tyson. You fucked up. If you actually think time is real, you stupid ass, stop saying it's real. Stop trying to pretend it's real, and stop using sci-fi as evidence. You dumb bitch. Again, it's amalgamifying people, basically, but through science. It's basically what's going on.
Which ostensibly takes place at the end of the Second World War. And there are other sort of historical details I won't get into. What I was most intrigued by is the time travel that goes on in that. And he actually captures that accurately. So what happens is the lead protagonist gets abducted by aliens, gets put in a cage, and that sounds bad, but they said, no, you're still there. You're still being born. You're still dying. And they went outside of his timeline. And so he would sit there and daydream, but by daydreaming, he was living his life, and he could relive his life multiple ways and in multiple times.
Wait, just real quick, because we're running out of time. Dr. Manhattan, I forgot also, is a character who lives in his world line and also sees.
Again, go back real quick.
Dr. Manhattan.
Okay, so Dr. Manhattan. People back then that invented that shit, they were fucking brilliant. They're way smarter than people that, especially Americans now. Basically, like our forefathers are way smarter than we are today. They had a reason for it. There was like fierce competition, and like we're dumb, we're losing. Like America is slowly being changed, and we're being Russified. Like I think Trump is literally selling out America. Basically, he's probably in debt. His towers are probably owned by Russians or whatever, and he's just fucking America over, like fucking small man over, and like it's a way for me to get ahead. It's exactly. I'll put at the end of this video, like I always post it at the very end of the videos like this, where I talk about this shit, where I bring up Nazis and Hitler and whatnot, because the methodology is the same thing, even if Jews and all that are not the same, right? Like the way he did it is the same, but targets are not the same. So that was kind of my point there. What is it, 1046? Yeah, they were brilliant back then, and America is not brilliant today. So, but yeah, I'll include that. I'll include that video at the end of this one, and you guys should watch it because it's literally what's going on. Like, he's destroying America, except for the select few. And then what happens is the select few are in charge, and no one else can do well. So what happens is the select few start fucking everybody else over, and they fuck everyone else so much that now we're back to the Stone Ages. Meanwhile, these people over here are using fucking like England with rifles and whatnot. And that's probably why England won, is because they actually were in line and people shut up and all of the fucking noise and chaos was all thrown out and shut up, and all the parties and all the fucking around. Like, they still fucked around, but they were taking life more seriously, right? And they were more trying to straighten things out and prevent the world from falling apart. Whereas today, most Americans are more worried about the party than the building that the party happens in, right? They're all riding in the back seat. And they don't realize the driver's heading towards a cliff. And they're heading towards a cliff so that the Russians can go and destroy America, right? And our forefathers are so fucking smart that they said, America will never fall, will never falter from the outside. If America is ever to succumb, it will be from the inside out. And that's what's going on with Trump. And he's selling out America, killing off America, and it's Hitlerizing America, and just fucking over America to the point. And we're not getting anything from it. We're just people are losing things for no fucking reason. And everyone's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? This is what's going on. This is what the fuck. This is what the fuck. They're just trying to destroy America. And the reason why they're trying to destroy America, reason why is because Trump is in debt to Russia. And so he's selling all these secrets to Russia, doing all this shit for Russia to get out of the debt. And guess what? He's getting in back, or getting in response. Russia takes over America, basically. That's the end of the day. Or Japan, or whatever, right? America still has the greatest army and military, but it doesn't matter if the army falls apart. Like, we're losing money here and there, here and there, here and there. Like, how are we going to keep this fund up? Like, we have a bloated ass budget pretty soon. All we're going to have is military spending. It's a bit military state. Like, oh, God, we're so fucked. But keep going, keep going. Like,
Forgot also.
And this is all through science, by the way. This is what's going on.
So, is a character
Muggification through everything.
Who lives in his world line and also sees his world line simultaneously.
Okay, this is of the Dr. Manhattan from the Watchmen.
Watchmen, correct.
Yes. Excellent. Yeah, that's a pretty powerful guy.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
once you have him, why have anything, do anything
That's
about
what
anything?
I don't like. That's why I don't like Watchmen, believe it or not, for what you just said. Because it's like, I got Dr. Manhattan. I mean,
We're done here.
My answer to everything is like, seriously, bro? I got Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah, that's the answer. Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah, it's Dr. Manhattan. It's
the
over.
whole thing. So now, one other quick.
Okay, now what you do is you get Dr. Manhattan to play by certain rules where he's not allowed to do certain things, and he's agreeing to it, and just slowly but surely tear him apart to that status, to the point where he starts, he puts a bunch of, what are they called? That's where people gotta pay to import, basically, tavern. What are they called then? I don't remember the word. Like, Trump was talking about it, but yeah, to get to that point, we put those up, and you fuck over everybody, and the whole fucking America falls apart, and then Dr. Manhattan falls apart just like America does, and so that's how you do it. It's, if you can't beat it, destroy it from the inside, just like the world is doing to America right now. So, and Trump is acting like, oh, well, we're being fucked over. No, we're just paying them because we want their goods, so we pay them. And yeah, but yeah, they want it. Anyways,
Thing.
All right.
If you have an ant in a square, okay, and let's say there's a sticky edge on the square, that's basically a prison for the ant. You could tell the ant, just go up an inch and out and over. No, but the ant is stuck in 2 dimensions. The 2 dimensions of the paper that's at length and a width, okay, or height or whatever. Those 2 dimensions, the ant is stuck. If it had access to a 3rd dimension, it could escape the prison, right?
Right. Because it can find height and escape. Right.
So think about it. If you are in an actual jail cell and you had access to a 4th dimension, a 4th spatial dimension, you just have to step out of the spatial into the spatial dimension and step back in, and then you just walk out of the prison without ever.
real quick, I'm not saying that there isn't a 4th dimension, but we don't know what it is. We are that ant, but we will die in 2D just like that ant would, because we don't know of the other dimension, basically, or the 4th dimension. And you're saying time is the 4th, but it's not. If it would, we could access it, but we can't, because time isn't real. And you can say, oh, well, we haven't figured it out. Well, we'll never figure it out. Eventually people will find out that, oh, time isn't real. We can't access it because it isn't real, basically. That's basically what's going on. What was it? 12 minutes. So, we are the ants. We'll die in our 2D square because we don't know of the next dimension. All we have are sci-fi books that have become Bibles. Yeah, that was a good point. Basically, if you're watching this, sci-fi is becoming Bibles, basically. And real quick, let's go back to 12. Alright, it's fine. And real quick, this is actually why I quit um, League of Legends. Basically, it's why I quit anything that involves a team. Basically, because NA sucks at anything related to a team. Because they're all just like trying to be the best on their own, and they think they can win on their own, and they don't realize that the military is a bunch of people, not just one person. Or else we'd have one person in the military be the best, because no one can ever beat him. But one person can't stand to 10 people, for example, or one person can't stand to one person with guns, for example. You know what I'm saying? So that's the battle that's going on forever. Is the battle of arms, essentially, and this is kind of why America spends so much, and like they said, too much, but it's why the budget is so high. Is because they were trying to stay on top of it. But nowadays, it's kind of whatever, and it seems like America's gonna fall pretty soon if this keeps up. Because again, everyone wants to believe these sci-fi books as if they were Bibles. And again, I don't play any games that relies on any teamwork at all, because everyone else is stupid or sucks, and that's why I quit. And the one time I actually prevailed and got to the number one position was because I got a partner, and my partner was from Mexico. Basically, he wasn't born in America; he was born in Mexico, and we were connected. Basically, and we played online. Me and my partner from Mexico, and we played and we destroyed shit because he listened. He actually knew how to play like a team, basically. And this is something that America can't fucking do. And this is why I quit League of Legends. So I quit any kind of game at all, because they just are fucking stupid. They don't fucking get it. That's why all the other nations are the fucking kings, because they get it. They know, they understand. They shut the fuck up and accept orders. You know what I'm saying? But America has no idea how the fuck to do that, so they're just full of MAGA idiots. MAGA science, MAGA idiots.
The third dimension, it could escape the prison, right?
Right. Because it can find height and escape. Right.
So think about it. If you are in an actual jail cell and you had access to a fourth dimension, a fourth spatial dimension, you just have to step out of the spatial into the spatial dimension and step back in, and then you just walk out of the prison without ever touching the walls. Okay? So that's how you escape prison. Just invent a fourth spatial dimension to do that. So then I thought, if you need a spatial dimension for that, then what about our fourth time dimension? Why can't that work for us?
Because time isn't real. And I like how your whole argument is, well, if the secret is if we just had the answer. So all I have to do is use the answer and then we win. And it's like, yeah, that's totally how science works. Like, what the fuck happened to you, dude? Like, do you hear yourself? Like, ever at all? Especially right now? Like, what the fuck?
The way of fourth spatial dimension. It does. It does. Here it is. You ready? So somebody puts you in jail, and now you enter your fourth time dimension.
And how do you do that? How do you do that, buddy? How do you do that?
You go to it.
Oh, you don't explain it because it doesn't exist.
Return to your time dimension before you were put in prison.
Oh, yeah. Just there it is. The way that you win is you hit the I win button. Can we just lock you up and put you in a fucking room, a pillow room? Like, right now, is that what you want? Like, that's what it sounds like.
Right.
Now you're not in prison. You just escaped the
And then the Chuck, who has more intelligence probably, is like, yeah, totally.
prison. And you do it or after you escape. So that it works the same way as the spatial dimension if we can invent that. But I'm just that
If we can invent that. But we just hit the button and we win. No shit, Sherlock. But the point is, time isn't real. And you failed to prove that it is real.
that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah.
Of course, that is all you got to say about that because you have no answer.
A better thing would be to return to before you committed the crime and not commit.
Exactly, Chuck. Exactly. And he's laughing because he realizes, oh yeah, that is true. And the point is, remember what I was talking about earlier when I was talking about the context and how you're picking apart the fake argument of bullshit and why do that and blah 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 and not because time isn't real and time is never real and time travel never gonna exist and wormholes no such thing and there never will be and blah 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 because there's no such thing as time and there's only the here and now and we're just on a fucking. We are people on a rock in space, floating around a ball of energy. Like, that's literally what we are, right? And they're in fucking La La Land. They've clearly had too much drugs. I have no fucking idea. Like, they're talking about time as if you can climb it. Like, shut the fuck up, you idiots. Like, time isn't real. Period. End of story.
Admit it.
Oh, Reverend Chuck, the moralist, Reverend Chuck. All right, Chuck, we gotta quit that.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah, so that's another explainer. Space-time continuum. Neil deGrasse Tyson. Keep looking up.
All right, so, god damn it. Before I go, what I wanted to say was, this is supposed to be said 12:56, but whatever. The point was, or what I was gonna say was, you sound like an idiot, like CACA. We have it, just use it, haha. But what is it? Silence. Basically, is what I wrote. I think I improv and just kind of went off, and I said basically the same thing. But again, this is more of a guide just to keep me on track or remind me of things I might forget about. But I'm more than likely to write pretty much the exact same thing if I were to listen to this crazy man speak as if time was real, as if time was actually a tangible thing, as if time can actually do stuff and do things and it were a real, I don't know, man. He's a fucking idiot though. But time is not a fourth dimension and time will never be a fourth dimension. And yeah, we gotta figure it out, guys. We gotta stop fucking around. Get your fucking fingers out of your butthole and start figuring it out. Stop sniffing your fingers too. Like, grow up. Like, it sucks because, well, maybe it was a good thing that I had surgery and got fucked over because I was able to step back and actually see the truth. And I realized that Tracy, the place I grew up in, was a shit house. And I had a bunch of non-educated non-intelligent people. And the system right now literally is to just remove intelligence from the world. Like, everybody, all of my trainers and my teachers, they all had nothing to do with intelligence, basically. And they had a lot to do with education, but nothing to do with intelligence. And actually learning the ropes it just didn't exist with them. And understanding things wasn't a thing. And like, it was better for them when you could copy paste. Like, that's basically they wanted. And that's the whole, like, that's what the world is. George Carlin had said it back then. He had noticed and pointed it out back then. Like, you're stupid, you're smart enough to do the work, but you're stupid to think you're stuck where you are, basically. And that's kind of what it is, but I think I stretched it more. And instead of being just stuck where you are, I basically broke it down more to explain via intelligence and education. and whatnot. And what George Carlin was saying was they make you very educated, but they remove your intelligence, basically. And like you become an obedient slave is basically what you do. And it's why women are the way they are, because they grow up that way. And then a guy shows up and then abuses them. And they just grow up that way. Like the whole fucking thing. God. It makes me want to cry. But anyways, I'm out of here. Be well, be happy, be safe. And as always, I'm gonna hang out a little bit after and see if anybody says any things. I can argue with them, but we'll see. Nope, my room's empty. Reason why is because this video is the truth, and chances are one person's gonna watch it. But yeah, there you go. Peace.